purposely bred to be savage, battle-loving warriors. You know what happened when his wife was pregnant at first? He said, fuck that tournament. I'm not doing that. My wife's pregnant. I don't want to square up. And what do we say? You know what? You got it. I'm going to get up. No. We're not.
Bad recording this one.
Fuck!
And we're back with another episode of 360 Vita, episode number 12.
I'm gonna just get out the way.
You want to tell them what just happened?
I'm gonna just get out the way. It's my fault. You can hear it in the Sway voice. It's my fault. I ain't pressed record on the audio. We had the audio on the camera for our sequence, but we did a couple of hot takes. We didn't get the audio on the recorder. That's my fault. Sway, I'm sorry. I apologize. He was cooking. He was talking that stuff.
You're going to jail. Well, you got myself, Big Swave, Big Suave. You got Killy, you got Mac. Now today, if it wasn't already apparent, we're talking about hot takes. We're talking about opinions. And the first opinion and hot take we were talking about by Mr. Mac himself is sometimes bullying is okay. Now, we all came to the conclusion that he's wrong.
Good character development. Personally, I think it's good character development.
I know what you're saying, because coming from New York, especially in New York public schools, a lot of that happened, and that kind of formed a lot of how people kind of act. So I think to make like a well-rounded person, you probably want some level of like
bullying. Exactly. Thank you.
Yeah.
Next.
But
what's your hot take? No. See, now we can't replicate the argument.
Now we're saying he's wrong.
No, bullying builds character development. I think it's needed sometimes. I think sometimes you need someone to like push your buttons so when you get older, you know how to handle things. You need somebody to talk about you in a certain way. So you know how to rebuttal and clap back. You know what I mean? Like, this just helps.
And I disagree, because you don't need it. I think in an ideal society, you don't want it. But resilience does breed strong characteristics. And for that reason, I can see why people view it as valuable.
All right. And I disagreed, because when I think of bullying, I think of somebody just attacking somebody who's minding their own business, you know what I'm saying, in the corner. Maybe he don't got no friends or whatever the case may be, but you're going out your way to be a dickhead and bully that person. I don't think that person needs that.
And that's why we bully you.
But I do think that some people deserve to be checked. You know what I'm saying? I think a lot of people who come up very privileged, who don't get talked to, you know what I'm saying, their parents let them do whatever as they were a kid, and now they grow up and they don't understand what the real world is. They deserve to be checked. You know what I'm saying? If you're that kid who's bullying somebody with their guards down, no defenses, minding their business, you deserve to be checked. So I don't necessarily call that bullying. I don't think we need to bully anybody, but I think that, you know what I'm saying, we got to step in sometimes and you got to be talked to. But yeah, that was a bullying conversation.
Yes, sir.
Then Max said...
No, we're not talking about that.
Yeah,
next
yes,
one.
we are. Then Max said
one.
His second hot take was everybody should know how to cook. And we said that's a ice cold take.
Terrible hot take.
Some people say fuck cooking.
I think
I can say that, but that's not a hot take, though.
I think the hottest part of that take is growing
food.
Yeah.
Farmer ass bitch. I don't know why you need to know how to
All right, so when the world blow up,
Joe ass bitch.
don't come over here. It's our potato.
I know. Where am I gonna go in New York growing food in the concrete, bitch?
Terrible hot take. Not even a hot take.
Some people don't like cooking.
You could not like it, but
You should.
Some people choose not to cook. They don't want to cook.
that's fine. But,
That's
but saying you should know how is not a hot take.
Okay.
Our friend who is not here today would agree he should know how to cook.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
And then Killy said that Attack on Titan is mid.
Yeah. I'm standing on that.
And then I said, the Dragon Ball Z plotline. Y'all want to get to the Reddit? Y'all want to get to the Reddit?
Yeah, Max said Dragon Ball Z is mid, and I went
no,
on
I didn't say mid. No. Don't say that. Don't say that.
The story is one dimensional.
No, I said the story plotline is one
on
dimensional. And you went on a tangent.
A good 7 minute
It was a
tangent
7
about why it was
and
not.
I was waiting.
I'm not looking for, this is no crazy sinners type plot. You know what I'm saying? That's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for fights. But saying the story is one dimensional, I don't agree with, right? Because you have great character development in this show, let's look at the number one GOAT, Vegeta. You got the Prince of all Saiyans coming in the Saiyan Saga, who was constantly conquering planet, murdering thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people, to eventually in the Buu Saga sacrificing himself. Right, a man all about his pride, sacrificing himself for other people, being his wife, his son, and his biggest rival, Goku, somebody who he completely hated, filled with detest in the Saiyan Saga. Right, had to come to grips in the Namek arc versus Frieza. I'm not him. I'm not legendary Super Saiyan. That's Goku. In the Buu Saga, he's watching Goku go toe-to-toe with Majin Buu, Kid Buu. He's watching and saying, you know what, Kakarot? You got it. You're number one. A man who was all about his pride. My number one thing is my pride. Earlier in the same saga, he got brainwashed by Babidi because he could not handle being number 2 to Goku. He said, fuck it, I'm going to give up everything for my pride. All those innocent people in the stands, I don't care, because all I care about is being Goku's ass. This is the only one.
And for you to finish, so I could say, if Dragon Ball Z came out today,
It would still be the GOATest anime
it
of all
wouldn't
time.
be goated. It wouldn't be as goated as it is.
Yes,
it would.
We literally have
It would be
examples of it
great.
being really good today.
It would be great. I don't think it'd be as good. I think part of it is nostalgia.
Imagine seeing Gohan go Super Saiyan 2 versus Cell for the first time. Imagine reading the manga leaks for that, like Jujutsu Kaisen.
But I will say the best thing about the
Mountains
storyline,
would be moved.
Mountains will be moved.
what you were saying about Vegeta's character development, I will say Vegeta has probably the best character development of any character. Him and like Zuko from Avatar: Last Airbender, those two probably have the best character developments out of any. So I'll give it that.
I mean, Gohan would have had it too, but they hold him.
And then they hold Gohan OD. Like, what is that?
But they didn't hold Gohan though, because Gohan never wanted smoke
That's
with
true.
anybody.
That
That
is
was
true.
part of his character. He never wanted to be number one.
Yeah.
Goku
So
tried
what?
to push that
how
to
you
him.
How you that strong and you digress?
Because he don't like
was
fighting. He
insane.
wants to be a
Like,
scholar. He
yo.
want to read his books.
It's that type shit.
He want to write. He want to read the thesaurus, bitch.
You think
He
he
not trying to fight.
WEB the boys? Fuck out of here. Anyway, let's
All right,
don't
give
get
us-
to the Reddit.
all right, fine,
We
fine.
reading
Give us a
Reddit
hot
hot
take.
takes this
All right,
episode.
Go ahead. Go ahead. What's the first one?
First Reddit hot take. Wait, I ain't pull it up. Hold on. My fault, G.
You're going to jail.
This one is from Mr. Blue 630. He says, telling a guy to man up is the same as telling a woman to get back in the kitchen.
I understand what he's trying to say. He's trying to say, oh, we have these genders, there's stereotypes, so saying you have to man up and, I don't know. When I think of man up, I think of like, all right, you got to hide your feelings or you got to, really like hide your feelings.
Gender stereotypes.
Yeah. So, I mean, I kind of get it.
Like you.
I kind of understand what he's saying or what they're saying.
I think on its face, it is the same, quite similar. I do think there are some significant differences. I think telling women to get in the kitchen is probably more restrictive to women, them being optimistic and hoping to do more with their lives than just be maids to men. I do think telling a guy to man up is still kind of negative because, like, when you say that person is probably going through an emotional period at the time, but there is something to be said about being able to push through or like be composed in like a moment of trauma that could be said better than man up.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, if I were to tell myself man up, I think that's just me telling myself, yo, I got to lock in.
Lock-in is a better term, I think.
Yeah, like I think that's different than a woman saying to herself, "Yo, I got to get in the kitchen." Like two different. It's a little different, but I think I basically understand what they were trying to get at.
On a scale of 1 to 10, I'll give that a 6.
I would give like a 4.5, 5.
I give it a 5.
Yeah,
That's
it's not,
some
really,
shit.
it's not really that hot.
It's not that
lukewarm at
hot.
best. What's next?
We go. Oh, they deleted their username.
Who cares?
That's
No free
true.
clout.
No free clout. Making fun of men. Making fun of men who lose their hair because of male pattern baldness is body shaming.
Not low key. They might be spitting.
They might be spitting.
That's a very cold take, but that doesn't make it less funny.
Yeah, that's. I guess that's factual. They body shaming.
Yeah.
They have no control over that, right? So
Yeah,
why is you on me for being bald?
It is like 90% an immutable characteristic.
Yeah,
But my dad's bald. One day I'll probably go bald. So I'm
we can make that
probably
day
cooked.
today, brother.
Hey.
We
Yeah, I know
can
it's easy for me to say because I have hair. My
For
hairline,
now.
I got a hairline, but like
For now.
if wow,
until I step in.
nah, My dad got a hairline.
Taking his too.
It's easy. But if I was losing my hair, I'd probably just go bald. But I've also heard the take that like, oh, black men look better bald.
Let me tell you something.
Specifically. I'm like, no.
If I'm going bald, I'm taking that first flight to Turkey. Facts.
You're not rocking a bald look?
Hell no, I'm going to Turkey, bitch.
Nah, you're him, buddy.
Yeah, I'm going to Turkey. I'm getting that transplant.
Yeah.
I can't lose my hair, bro.
Yeah.
I'll probably just
There are
be bald.
solutions. There are solutions before you need to go to Turkey.
You saw what? How do you feel about the like the men weave type shit, or
Like
the men
the-
hair
the
transplants,
hair-
or like the
installations?
Yeah.
Installation?
Would you do that if you was balding?
I
Hell
would
no.
feel very uncomfortable about doing it because I'll be insecure about the fact that I'm using the insulation. If it was more socially acceptable, like already, then maybe I would, like today, I'd be like, okay, but that's crazy.
Women
Like, in
do it
my
all the
mind
time.
now,
What's the difference?
But that's women do that.
Yeah, women do that. Men don't do that.
Not to say that there's anything wrong with it, but like that's crazy. Just be bold. It's
Personally,
fine.
I would just be bald. But I would not do that personally, but I'm not going to shame a dude for getting that.
Yeah, I'm not gonna bully him, Mac, like you want me to. I'm not gonna bully him for that.
That's different. He's in a darker stage in his life. I'm talking about kids on kids bullying.
Yeah, I don't think I would do that. I would just get the hair transplant.
Instead of incentivizing people to try to fix their beauty, we should be incentivizing people to accept how they look.
That's true.
For that reason, I wouldn't want to get I want to be in a world where I wouldn't need the hair transplant or.
What if you're
the
comfortable with the
insulation.
way you look with hair though? That you want your hair still, even though you're losing it.
I mean, that's true, and gender affirming care is a thing, or like body affirming care is a thing, and if you want that, you absolutely get it. But one thing that people don't seem to understand is that, especially younger people, like our bodies change. Like we are going to change. We're not going to be beautiful forever. Things are going to change. You're not going to always look at the way that you identify or see your perfect version of yourself as when you were like 16 to 20, whatever, 25. Like you're probably going to change. And we need to have that messaging more so people are comfortable through the changes so that when something, like when they look in the mirror one day and they don't like the way that they look, they don't opt for like a crazy surgery.
Right.
Not even it might not even necessarily have the worst like long-term effects on them, but like you're getting surgery, like you're causing trauma to your literal body because of whatever, if you're like cutting yourself for the sake of surgery. So yeah, like I understand you might want to look better, but it's all right. It's cool. People are bald. It's fine. It's not that big a deal.
I agree with the
There's
baldness.
a lot of attractive bald people out there.
Yeah.
I think everybody should want to be physically capable, physically fit. I think everybody should strive for that.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying everybody needs to be 9% body fat, 6-pack, be able to bench 315 10 times. But I'm saying everybody should want to be able to go down the stairs, not be out of breath, walk around up and down the block, you know what I'm saying? And not have your heart racing at 180 beats per minute and be severely obese, because that is a detriment to your mental health, your physical health, and your life in general.
You know what that mean, right? You know what he's trying to say? He hate fat people.
Yeah, that is.
Don't even do that. Don't even do that. Don't even
Nah,
do that.
you're right. People should definitely strive. I think that
Now,
whole...
I understand there could be something stopping you from doing that, right?
Mm-hmm.
If your mental health is in jeopardy, right? And physically you don't want to get out of bed, or you can't get out of bed, then I understand that's something that is stopping you from doing so. But I think overall, the benefits are obviously there. And I want to be a 60-year-old, 70-year-old grandfather where I could still pick my grandchildren up, you know what I'm saying, put them on my back, and I have my back go out, you know what I'm saying? I still want to be able to be physically fit. And I don't think that's something that is a crazy take, but I do know that some people think that is a crazy take.
Nah, I think everyone wants to be fit and look good and be
I'm
in
not
shape.
even saying look good. I'm just saying be enough in shape to
Yeah,
where
no,
you're
people
not,
want that, but I think with that whole argument of like body positivity, I think it just comes from people wanting, or people, what am I trying to say? Like you accepting you for you at that moment. So it's obviously you want to look, I mean, obviously you want to be in shape. I don't even know what I'm trying to say, but
I think I get you.
Like being comfortable in your skin at that moment.
Being comfortable in your skin at that moment.
Yeah, sure. I think that's fine. I think being comfortable is fine, but you also have to be aware that like if you're absurdly unhealthy and you can't go up and down the stairs without losing your breath, there's a problem here. And I think you should want to strive to be better. You can be comfortable where you're at now. I'm comfortable where I'm at now physically, but I know I want to continue to do better and be more fit, lift more weight, run more, VO2 max go up more. I know I want that, but I'm good where I'm at now. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm comfortable right now, but I know I want more.
There's also the conversation of everyone has different body types. So there are people who are just naturally just bigger, and people who are naturally skinnier, naturally smaller in stature, right? So not everyone's going to be built the same. Like there are guys who can't be like, what's a guy who's super slim and fit? Michael Phelps.
Chris Bumstead, #1 bodybuilder right now, even though he's retired, right? I understand that not everybody's going to have, physically, not everybody's going to be able to have a six pack. You know what I'm saying? Not look crazy.
But then there's also, people have to know that and not like, oh, look at, this goes for women especially because there are people who look at women and go, oh, she's fat. She's not fat. It's just,
that's just how she is naturally.
Yeah,
that's how
she naturally just got more on her body.
More on her, and that's fine. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, I just think that there should be a baseline of what you should be. You know what I'm saying? As long as there's no like, what's the word? Like physical, anything stopping you from doing so physically or mentally, whatever the case may be. Like anybody should be able to physically get up, move around their day, and not be winded because of it.
Yeah.
Like if you're an 80-year-old person, that's different, right? But if you are an able-bodied person, you should be able to strive for that.
How you feel about
Wait, is this a new hot take?
No.
Okay.
How you feel about lipo?
Like that's fine. If you want to do that, then do that. You know what I'm saying? Like,
but there's so many people who they'll get lipo, and then you don't even go to the gym. Like you gotta like know how to work. Then you look crazy after.
I mean, listen. At the end of the day, that's your body. So if you feel like you want to make that step, then sure, go ahead. I don't think that's necessarily like a detriment to your health. So I think it's fine. And I think I share that with like any type of plastic surgery or surgery to your body in general, as long as it's not actually like making you physically deformed or hurting you in any way, then do whatever you want. But that doesn't impact me. So do whatever.
I think the point Mac is kind of alluding to is like people will kind of get these surgeries and don't really, or not necessarily these surgeries, or like do certain things and don't understand what comes with it to maintain that like look or something like that. Like if there was a pill for me to take, I guess Ozempic is that now, to get the body that I want. Like it's not as easy as just eating this pill and then for the rest of my life I will always.
Yeah, you need
like
to be
that.
educated. You need to be educated to maintain what you are going under surgery for. Yeah, but I think that's fine.
Or not even education, but like let's say somebody gets a BBL. That's not the end of it. You still have to work out. You still have to. Yeah. You still have to be. You have to take active steps in maintaining your body. That's all. That's literally what having a body and being a human is about. Like constantly maintaining yourself.
Yeah.
So we need people to be more engaged in that level of activity to like operate in that healthy zone of what it means to be like a healthy person. They don't need to be the most fit, the most athletic. They don't need to be the most, but definitely operate in this zone because this is like what makes sense for humans.
I agree.
Yeah. The original take was shaming people for being bald, shaming men for being bald is body shaming. I think that's a freezing cold take. 0 out of 10.
I give that a -1 degree Celsius out of 10.
That's a 1.
All right, what's the next one?
Next one is, fuck you if you record yourself giving things to homeless people.
Yeah, why do you need to record it? This is an argument that I could potentially see. If you make money off of those videos and that money is directly getting funneled back into giving the homeless, then I think I could understand that.
I'm on the fence about this because I am always like,
and if they consent to the video,
seeing people, showing people kindness will then put something in other people's brain and think, okay, let me be kind. So it's kind of like you're trying to like spread the word, like, yo, be kind, do this for these people. But then people always go, well, how do you know the person's not doing it just for clout? It's true. I'm always on the fence about it.
I mean, yeah, it could be. They
I
could
think
be
it's
doing
context.
that, right? They could be doing that. But also, like, yeah. I
think
can't
it's-
really think of any, like, content creators that...
Like Mr. Beast, like
Yeah.
I feel like for him it's kind of like, nah, you kind of doing it for like your video.
Don't let me get started on Mr. Beast. I'm a Mr. Beast hater. Fuck Mr. Beast.
You hating on Mr. Beast
I'm a
and his
Mr. Beast
philanthropy
hater.
channel?
Yep.
Why you
Yep.
hating on Mr. Beast?
I mean, like,
let me hear it. This is the hot take. Why you hate Mr. Beast for?
yeah, that's the real hot take. I feel like, all right, let's say that you said to homeless people or people that
Homeless
are
people.
without, like, I think even if that is a net neutral, or even if it's a like slight net positive, I still think it's kind of a weird world that we're creating. That we're kind of create like there's like a economy or like there's like a genre of content that is solely more or less like homeless porn. Like people are deriving pleasure from seeing like homeless people be like saved, more or less.
And
like, the goal, like even if the goal is to, if there was no other options and that's the only way we could save or help these people, okay, fine. But that's not the only option. Like how many avenues have been explored so that we can get these people out of these predicaments? The reason why, like, it's like, if you look at Mr. Beast, like even if he donates all the money he gets from it, like his profile as a person grows, or these people, they're still benefiting from these things, even if it isn't directly monetarily. Them as characters, them as beings are being benefited. I don't think there is anything like purely or truly altruistic where you could just do something without getting any gain from it. But I think you have to have a critical lens, a critical mindset on those type of acts, because why have the camera? At the end of the day, do you need to have the camera? Could you find another way to support these people? And if the answer to that is yes, then you don't need to create almost a spectacle of it. Like that, you don't need to visually show you handing this to the person. It could be like, hey, I helped this person. Like, it could be like, hey, today I went to go do this thing, or give out 100 turkeys to however many people. I did it. They loved it. Whatever. You could have them talk a little bit about it. You should go do that. That could be at the end of that. But what we've kind of created is like almost a production where the key visual, the key draw is like the actual act of the exchange, which
Right.
I get why it can inspire people, but it's almost like it is like kind of dystopian. Like that is the thing that it takes to inspire people to give to people that don't have.
But if it is inspiring people, then what's the problem?
Can I jump in?
Give me a second. I can't think of a great example, but like if shooting someone could help save 100 children, is it fine to shoot someone to save 100 children?
If you're a vigilante, maybe. Is that person doing something wrong?
I think in what we have accepted as our baselines for society, shooting someone, even if it is saving 100 people, there is some like moral weight put on that person.
Some people
for it.
argue you did do a
I
good
think
thing.
if that person is
I
like
think it
an
depends who you're
active
talking to.
threat, obviously threatening these 100 children, then yeah, I'll shoot
What if
you.
they're not? What if all the 100 children are gonna grow up to be Hitler?
I don't know that.
What if?
That's a big what if.
Well, now, okay.
What if-
Fuck them kids.
Exactly. So what if these 100 kids are gonna grow up to be the worst person? And this
But we don't know that.
I'm gonna give you both scenarios. What if these 100 kids are gonna grow up to be the worst person, and this person that is killing them is the best person? Obviously, you let that person kill the 100 kids.
Yeah.
But if the person is killing these kids, if that one person is a terrible person, and we know these 100 kids are gonna grow up to be the saviors of humanity, like then it's an easy decision. But the life we live isn't as black and white to make those clear distinctions back and forth. So to say that even if one person or a couple people say that it does make sense to allow somebody to do it because you have like a net positive and good, you can't really boil it down to that because the situation is way more complex than that.
So if an active gunman has 100 kids hostage, obvious threat, he already killed 20 kids. He's gonna kill these next 100. We shouldn't kill him.
That's not what I outlined.
But I'm asking you a question.
Okay, obviously, if he's a hostage.
If somebody-
now,
if
it's
somebody
just,
goes rob a
what he's
bank-
saying is, if there's just a regular person, you don't know, you have a neutral thing about you, a neutral view on that person. Would you shoot them to save 100 people? But I think it's dependent on who you ask, because some people say you did good, some people
So
say
you're
you
asking
did
like the
bad.
Charlie question,
Pretty
basically.
much.
Yeah,
Oh.
it just depends who you talking
I
to.
think
and who you ask.
I like the life of many versus the life of one.
I think, and that is
That's my
a
opinion.
reasonable way to that's very close to utilitarianism, which is a very reasonable way to view the world or like create value in people's lives, but it is way more complex than that.
So jumping back to the homeless thing, I think it could be a very positive thing if you take the time to get to learn the person, get to know the person, get to know their story. Now, I remember seeing one of those videos, and the guy gave him some food, or he asked him what he wanted. The homeless guy, what did he want? And then I remember the homeless guy, at the end, he had said like some really cool motivational thing, which was really cool. I forgot exactly what it was, but he also said something that he taught us something in the video. And the homeless guy was like, when you giving homeless people food, like they're not used to eating a lot, so you give them a big plate, and then they're not going to finish it, or they're going to take 2 bites, they're going to be full, and then they have to carry the food around. So either the food's going to go bad, or like they're going to lose it. The food's going to go to waste. So don't give them a lot of food. So he was like, I just want a little thing of cereal. Like, that's all, because that's all I'm going to eat. And then that taught me something. I was like, oh, I had no clue. I would have thought to give them a bunch of food. And like, also the other thing is like, sometimes their teeth are bad. They can't chew up like hard things, or depending on what it is, they need like soup or mushy stuff or whatever. So like, I think that's a positive with those videos. If you actually talk to them and getting to learn like their story. And, you know, that could be a positive.
I think Mac makes a really good point in like how, especially companies operate in like creating products. Like very often companies will create a product that they think is good for the user instead of understanding what the user wants and needs. Like if a person is in a bad position and you're giving them a bunch of, like, let's say I'm giving you like 100 pounds of food. Yeah, you could use the 100 pounds of food, but like how, like now I got to think about how I'm going to carry this food.
You'll
like,
have a
where I'm gonna store
refrigerator.
this food, all this stuff.
Yeah.
So every action, like, it's like an avalanche, like it trigger or a domino effect. There are things that we might not initially consider that also play a part in this equation that we need to have more care for, more thought for than just doing something because we feel it is right. We need to be more personal. Like, hey, how can I help you? Instead of saying, all right, let me give you all this bread. Now, like if I give somebody like $1,000, what if they don't have a bank account? What if they can't really store this? Now, potentially, I don't know if this is for a fact, but like now maybe somebody's going to try to rob them because they know this person has money, and that puts that person now at risk. These are like extreme scenarios for a situation that we're talking about. Might not necessarily happen that way, but I think that type of scenario where like this spectacle kind of creates unrealistic expectations towards that situation, which is potentially bad for the larger goal of like solving homelessness or whatever, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying.
And just a side note, this doesn't really have to do anything with the topic, but something I also learned is, so in New York City, if you go on the trains and the subways in the winter time, a lot of time you'll see like homeless people sleeping on the trains. Or like maybe you'll see a homeless person and they're sleeping like on like a major block or major strip or whatever, like they're in the way, quote unquote, in the way or whatever. I never like, if I had somewhere to sleep last night, I'm never like mad that they're on the train. You know what I mean? Like I had somewhere to sleep. So I'm never like, oh my God, homeless people. But something that I learned is that it's very dangerous. Like people fuck with them, and like, so them being on the train, the train is constantly moving. There's people in and out the train, so it's safer to actually be on the train. And when I learned that, then I really was like, you know what I mean? I'm gonna just go to the next car. You know what I mean? So it's like learning like things about it also helps. That's just a side note.
I know I said fuck Mr. Beast, but I will admit that maybe this ideology that I have is like very idealistic and it can't really be applied in the real world. So if it is the case that these are the only ways that we can address some of these problems, then you just kind of have to admit or accept that this is the way it's going to get solved. Like, I don't want to be frozen by inaction. So if it is the way that we get action, then sure. What was the original take?
Fuck you if you film yourself giving homeless people stuff.
I get it at 5. 5 out of 10.
Yeah, I think I would agree.
I get it at a 6.
You think it's getting a little hot?
I want to pivot now. I
Okay.
want to do some conspiracy theories. Yeah,
I know
got
you
any
don't.
conspiracy theories.
I have a funny ass story about conspiracy theories. One day, I must have been around like 10. My dad goes up to me. He's like, "Son, do you really believe in them dinosaurs?" I'm like, "What the?" In my head, I'm like, "What the hell? Yeah, we got fossils." He's like, "You can't trust them fossils. They could all be man-made." He was like, "There wasn't no big ass lizards like that." I'm like, "Dad, what the hell is you talking about, man?"
You know something? Like, I was watching a YouTube video on like the history of dinosaurs, more or less, and like a lot of the way we kind of portray, at least some early movies,
Like Jurassic Park?
Yeah, Jurassic Park, and like a little before that, like a lot of it is someone was commissioned to draw a dinosaur, and he based it off of iguana, and then a lot of those were that those visions of dinosaurs was like extrapolated out of that.
A lot of people saying they were feathered, right? Like chickens.
Yeah.
I think we thought they weren't feathered, and then we got some information that they were feathered. But I think in actuality, some parts of their body were feathered. Yeah. So your pops is spitting.
So real quick anecdote. Remember that guy I was telling you that crazy guy I used to work with?
Yeah.
So he was a flat earther, and he would say just crazy things like, well, how do I believe the government? How do I believe NASA? They said this, but this guy on YouTube said this, and I'm sitting like, bro,
You're gonna believe a random dude on YouTube?
You gonna believe me believing NASA is the same as you believing a random dude. So I said, have you gone up into the sky and saw yourself? And I was like, until you go up there and tell me yourself and take a picture of yourself, then you can't really argue with me. So anyway,
I got a conspiracy theory.
what's up?
You getting bans.
That is. I heard that too.
You know, conspiracy theories can be true, right?
Yeah.
Yo. So a conspiracy theory is real quick. A conspiracy theory is just something that like you don't have any concrete proof on. You know what I mean? So like, regardless if you think, okay, that's obvious. Well, like if you don't have if we don't really have any concrete theories, like this is not even really a conspiracy theory, right? Like that they put shit in the food to get us addicted. Like that's not even like, has that been proven?
I don't.
I think the general statement to say all food all the time everywhere would
I
be
say in
considered.
America, definitely.
I think there are very many examples of that. So I wouldn't say it's a conspiracy theory historically.
Yeah, I think that there are ingredients in certain foods, especially like junk foods, that they are not putting on the label. Personally, I think so.
I don't know.
Maybe not that far. I feel like
yeah,
that's like an RFK level.
No, yeah, that's
Conspiracy.
pretty.
That's too RFK, right?
Yeah, that's pretty out there.
But anyway,
Because if they put something in the food and
Like we would see
there's an
that.
allergy,
We would see
also
that.
there's like extensive testing that goes into like these foods and what.
Yeah, we
What
live in
is
a
in
real
it?
world where people
Yeah.
like have stuff happen to them. We would see more.
Like
stuff.
if the food maker is like, oh, let's put some peanuts in here, not tell anybody, and then
not like
80,000
peanuts.
people,
It's just like chemical
like
shit.
little microplastics.
Yeah, something like that.
You fucking with the
That is kind of
microplastics.
RFK, right? Yeah.
Well, I think there also might be a thing where like maybe there is like a, let's say, for lack of a better term, an ingredient that someone might think is, hey, this is gonna make the what we can output for the food 40x is gonna taste better, whatever. That might be a newer thing that isn't like fully trialed. I think there's a lot of testing. Like if it's like what might be viewed as like a not significant thing, maybe there be things that are introduced that might like go through or like sneak through the cracks that probably would fall into that. So I wouldn't
Like how they used to put crack in Coca-Cola.
yeah, I feel like that would
You believe that?
could fall
Yeah,
into
this isn't a conspiracy.
that
This
literally
is
happened.
factual. There's probably
But they didn't put that on the label. You think so?
I think this
No,
is
I think
before
they
they
did.
had
Before they
labels.
got nutritional facts, right? Yeah. A conspiracy theory that I believe in is that they use sports and celebrities as like distractions for us to like
what?
not look at politics so much.
The reason why I can't agree with the reason why I can't say that I believe in that is because who is they? I feel like because he's saying they. Who is
The
they?
government.
The government. Like,
What are they doing for like for sports to get the spotlight off of them?
You know how like people care about pop culture and
Pop Smoke?
this.
they calling Tyrese Halliburton Halliban. So I don't know if they're doing a great job getting people's eyes off politics. But I see what you're saying.
Like
I
they
know.
distract you from politics with craziness.
You could say that about any form of entertainment,
That too. It could be, yeah, right?
but I don't think that's purposely. No,
I don't think it's an intentional plot or ploy to get people to be less.
it just may so
whatever.
happen that way, but I don't think they're intentionally being like, let's boost them basketball numbers up.
What I think it is the case that people don't care about politics and they care more about entertainment, especially like sports and celebrity, and it is an issue that should be solved. And maybe the government is the party that should be getting people to care more about politics, but they aren't doing it for whatever reason. It might not even be malicious. They might not even recognize it as a problem. There should be a party of people that kind of gets humanity back on like a good course. Not to say that liking sports is bad necessarily, because sports and culture are good things, but like we should always have like a good head on our shoulders about like how we run our world. I think something should be done to kind of correct that, but there isn't. So I feel like that would be the most charitable version of that conspiracy.
So you're aware of Fred Hampton, right?
Yes.
And Hugh P. Newton. They were assassinated by the government. So do you think this could be like a new age, like not assassination, but like suppress the information?
So
I feel like we're in an age where the information is the most easily accessible, so
That's
it's,
true.
it's very
So
hard to suppress
it needs the most
things.
distracting.
Yeah, but no.
I'm dragging it for the narrative of the podcast,
Yeah,
but like
yeah, you are. Kelly told me that he wants Trump for Lakers as his center.
Barron Trump kind of tall. He probably asked, but hey, we need bodies.
But you don't think, okay, so I bring up Fred Hampton and Huey P, right? Because you don't think that they, like the government is, what am I trying to say? Touching things to change a narrative or of any sort?
So I think there are a couple things.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I think like when you talk about the Black Panthers or like people tangent to that, not to give any like leeway to the government now, because I'm sure they still do that. We kind of see similar things kind of going on right now, but it was it was a very different era with like very few sources of information, like very few sources of leadership. Today, the real issue is like we have too many sources of leadership, like too many sources of noise, and what is happening more is like there's more pumping out of like bad information instead of like trying to sway people. I don't even need to really tell you that this person is bad. If I could create a new person and say this person is good,
So you
listen
don't
to this
think,
person.
So you don't think they have anything to do with that? That's what I'm asking. That's like the general question.
Well,
so like
I think
you said they're pumping out bad information. So I agree with you that there's a shit ton of like stuff flowing in the internet and like we're intaking so much information. You don't think they throw things in the ring to throw them off the tracks?
I don't think this is a conspiracy theory. I think someone literally bought a social media platform to do that and get a nigga elected.
Yep.
And this is kind of was my original point, is like they just interfere to keep you from knowing things. So obviously Elon Musk bought Twitter, and he was suppressing a bunch of information and pushing his narrative of Trump and conservatism, and this is kind of what I was getting at when I originally asked that question.
Yeah, but I don't even think that's a conspiracy. That's just like factual.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think, I do think it's a little bit, it's in a different place. I think like the goal is kind of the same. They want to maintain power, keep power, like subjugate people. Just like the battleground in which how they do
How it
it is
happens
a little
is
bit
different.
different.
On
Yeah.
the topic of social media, have y'all ever heard that? I don't even know what to call it. I don't even think it's a theory or whatever. But people basically saying, I guess it's a form of like digital blackface, where people go on the internet and they make fake accounts to help push a narrative.
Oh yes.
You've heard of that?
And like oftentimes it'll be
It'll
like
be a
as
person
a
of
white
color.
person,
Yeah.
making the account but trying to disguise themselves as a person of color.
Yeah, they'd be like, "Oh,
Yeah.
I'm black and I don't believe this,"
Yeah,
and
yeah.
so other people go, "Oh, if a black person doesn't believe
Yeah, I've
this,
seen
then-"
that, yeah.
but it's not really a black person."
Yeah.
You've heard of that?
Yeah.
I believe that. I think that's
Yeah, that's a fact.
I think Russia does a lot of that actually. Like in the political.
You say that's a fact, but can you have proof? This is what makes it a conspiracy theory.
There's not
If
even
you
a
don't-
conspiracy. This is factual. This is
If
factual.
you don't actually
you tell,
have proof.
you tell me there's not a single white person that has
No,
like
see, now it's obvious to
I've
us.
literally done it.
It's obvious to us. I think it's so much easier for us to believe it, right? But there's some people who go, "No, that's not true at all." Like, but look,
No.
those people are very out of touch with reality. Probably like boomers.
It's also like we were saying, like the problem now is not lack of information; it's too much information. So like, if almost you can't conceive it happening, it's probably happening in some capacity. Like I can almost guarantee people catfish. People have been catfishing
Yeah.
for a long time, so I can almost guarantee that someone that is not black or is going in people's comments to like stoke up flames as a black person when they're not black. And I'm almost certain that Russia has done similar things to influence our last election. But
Should we get Putin on the phone and confirm this?
don't send a drone strike right now, Putin, Mr. Putin.
I just want to say, get on my little soapbox real quick. They gentrified the word woke, and this is like a pet peeve of mine. And like, I guess leftists, no, not leftists. What am I saying? Conservatives.
I don't know.
What
You
side
tell
is
me.
that?
I'm confused too. I'm trying to hear what you're saying.
Right wing. Sorry, right wing. Right wing like took the phrase woke, and they tried to like make it a derogatory term, like, oh, they're woke, but like it was a term created by African Americans in like the 30s. Because obviously the things that are obvious to us now weren't as obvious back then, of like oppression and systemic racism and stuff like that. So it was like, stay woke. So, and they just took the word, and that's just a pet peeve of mine real quick.
Yeah, I think they successfully have stolen it,
And now it's like a meme, low key, and it's,
rebranded it.
it's
Yeah,
like
it is
it
a
was a real term, like it was like a real like serious. But anyway, y'all got something you want to say, or you want to go to the Reddit?
You go to Reddit.
Give me another Reddit take.
Conspiracy theory. I like this one. I believe there are people richer than the people we know as the richest people in the world.
Duh.
Now wait, there was something else.
You think these people in the Middle
Now
East be telling
this
you
is
how
what
much
someone
bread they actually have?
This is
I don't
wait,
know.
wait. This is what a comment. This is what a comment said under it that I thought was cool. What a lot of super rich do is they'll distribute their assets between family members so that the family as a whole can be like 3 or 4 times richer than Elon Musk. But individual family members don't really show up on the rich list. They could then exercise power as a family rather than as individuals while flying under the radar in the media.
What's the conspiracy?
That's not a conspiracy at all.
Can you prove it?
Yeah, look at me.
I mean,
Yeah, look at you, man.
look at the agency.
Look at the agency.
I feel like even if you can't prove it, even if intentionally, even if no one did it intentionally, if you can see that a family is just very successful amongst very many people, that family is going to have a lot of influence. Like the Kardashians, a lot of them are successful. Chris didn't give one of them any money in particular, but if you allocate all their money together in Chris, they might not be one of the most richest people on the world, but definitely richest in America, because I think Kylie's a billionaire.
Yeah. Kim is damn near.
Kim is a billionaire with Skims.
Oh yeah. She's a billionaire now?
Yeah, she is. I'm sure Kendall got stuff going on. Yeah, like so.
But those are like celebrities. Like imagine the people who own oil lines
Yeah.
and shit like that. Like I've heard stories of people who are like absurdly like retarded rich. I'm sorry, I shouldn't say retarded.
I feel like when you think about something like oil, or like if you own like a thing
Or any
that
type of
people
old
use,
money type of shit.
it don't really matter how much money you got because you own something that people use. So like your influence is like significant anyway. Because I think people that own oil aren't even the richest people anymore. I think Saudi is or have been for a while trying to diversify their assets because oil isn't the thing that makes you that much that rich anymore. But because they own oil and the world still operates like on oil, like fossil fuels, especially America, the conservative side is still trying to use it. They can leverage that power or whatever to kind of maintain stuff. So I don't really think that's a huge conspiracy theory necessarily. It's just something that just kind of happens in capitalist society. So it makes sense, but
Give us one more, Mac.
I need some shit like the moon
Yeah,
landing.
yeah.
Like,
I need some shit like this. It's crazy.
Like, where
Yeah,
the wizards at?
give us one more, Mac.
I don't think I have nothing like that.
Let me see. Let me see if I think something. Oh, this is a good one. I don't really think it's a good one, but do y'all know adapt? Like phase adapt?
Is this about the pigeons?
Yes.
Get the hell out of here.
I don't
Say
believe it.
Explain it.
So his theory is that all pigeons are basically government
I've heard of that. I've heard.
cameras, more or less.
I've heard of that.
All right. Anyways, what's the next thing we're gonna talk about?
Pigeons do be like here. It be 0 degrees. They be outside flying around though. Like unironically, you'd be like, no, I don't believe it. I do not believe it.
We are not going to entertain the pigeon government spy
I don't
talk, bro.
believe
We're
it.
not going to
But
entertain it.
I'm trying to say
We're
I
not
can see why
entertaining it.
people could look at pigeons and go, yeah, pigeons aren't real. But like, I don't believe it.
I mean, I can see why people thought the Earth was flat. But yeah.
You don't got no more conspiracies, Mac?
Let me see.
Nah, none of them is super crazy. There was one that said celebrities don't put their real children's name out, so that's why it always seems like they have crazy names. Celebrity children always have crazy names.
Maybe that's happened a few times. Sure.
I think that happened a few times. That's nothing crazy.
I don't think it's happened every
That's
time.
not really a
but
conspiracy
it's not
theory.
like, yeah.
I feel like the biggest conspiracy theories these days are like, it's like shit like COVID was fake for real, and like that is like a huge narrative. So I feel like conspiracy theories kind of fell off because they're now they're just like political talking points now. So I Googled some. It's like about how COVID is fake, vaccines cause autism, shit like that, and that's not even fun. Like I need some shit like we didn't really go to the moon.
We did. I was there.
Yeah, I was recording.
Yeah, he was recording.
Yeah, I think what would be fun, or maybe won't be that fun, but like Black Mirror type of stuff, like dystopian worlds that we would live in. Like what would be most?
You believe we
Most
live in a
dystopian
simulation? You believe that?
What?
You believe we live in a simulation?
No. But I guess technically it could be possible.
I think that it is a very, very reasonable explanation of our existence.
Nah, because let me tell you something. If it was a simulation, y'all two wouldn't be in my simulation. So I don't know what's going on.
You're not in control of that.
Y'all would have some crazy bands if y'all was in my
You're
simulation.
not in control of that.
I would be.
What was I about to say? No, I don't completely believe it, but I think it's fun to believe in it. So I'm always like on the fence. I kind of want to believe it. You know what I mean?
Some Matrix type shit.
Yeah, because I definitely had like a few times some crazy deja vu that I was
Same.
like, I've definitely lived this before. And it's like not even like it's not even like a 2-second moment. It's been like a whole like 10 seconds. I'm like, I've lived this moment before.
Sometimes, now I'm going to start sounding a little crazy. Sometimes I'll have a dream and that some one-off in the dream happens either months or years later. Key point. One time I was like 8 and I had a dream about this video game, like a still in a video game. And obviously I forget it. Years pass. I get this new game, Bakugan Battle Brawlers for the Wii. In that same frame that I dreamt years before, hit me like that. I was like, oh my God, I've seen this before. and then I remembered the dream when I was like 5 years prior, and I'm like, whoa, that's crazy. So I don't know. Maybe we do live in a simulation.
Reoccurring dream.
What if you misremembered?
Not possible.
I've had reoccurring dreams.
Not possible.
I don't mean to ruin the fun,
No, not possible.
but I feel like that's not what. Yes, it is what they mean by simulation, but even if it is a simulation, nothing effectively changes like in our existence.
Yeah, everything's still the same. Yeah.
Yeah. So it could be a simulation. It could be God. It could be nothing. It still is all the same. We're all fucked.
Maybe not we.
You're fucked.
Not me.
I specifically programmed it. So make this nigga get no bands. Make this nigga go broke and bald.
Oh no, not bald. Broke fine, but not bald. Okay. All right. We don't got nothing else.
Yeah. Nice calm little episode while Thunderman isn't back.
Thank
What
y'all
would he
for
say if
watching.
he was here?